What's going on, guys? Dave with Miracle Canine Training out here with Major right now. Major is a brand new board and train, just got dropped off, I think a day ago, 2 days ago possibly. And what we're doing is we are getting started on all of the basics with them. So Major is here for some human aggression issues, very reactive to new people, little bit of commitment to bite. I'm not sure if he's landed any bites like forcefully yet, but he definitely would given the opportunity. He's also just a disaster out and about in high stimulation environments, high distractions, things like that. So what we need to do first and foremost with a dog like this is we need to slow them down. That is the #1 problem with these dogs, is they act impulsively over and over and over again. Just right there, walking over, trying to paw at the car. He jumps on doors as he's trying to go through them. If he starts to get into a frenzy or panic, he starts this hyperventilating, moving around, pacing all over the place, just like he's doing right now, right? So again, #1 goal here first and foremost is slow them down, get that attention on us so that we can start to, get a little bit of safety out of this dog and get a little bit of control out of them. So this is a dog that's been on a prong collar for a while before this. His owners have had him on it, so he's used to it. When he's on it, he doesn't pull quite as much, but he is still very frantic on the leash. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be skipping some of those introduction steps that we do of introducing the leash outside on the walk, because he's done it plenty of times before. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into the e-collar stages of this, which is where we really start to see dogs get the most response out of them as we're going through the training process. The e-collar is a far more novel sensation to the dog. We're able to be much more dynamic with that tool, and we're able to use it in a way that is very clear of what we want. They are only feeling that stimulation when they are not doing a specific thing, as opposed to with the leash, where even just standing here, he's feeling a little bit of leash pressure there, feeling a little bit of leash pressure there, stuff like that, right? So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be conditioning in that e-collar with the heeling and seeing if we could get that walk looking pretty tight today. We're gonna be trying to move through things a little bit quicker with this dog than we normally would if we had a dog that was coming in just for basic obedience, because again, safety factors, getting him out of that headspace of just being frantic and stuff is really essential so we can start really learning with us. Obviously, in addition to all this stuff, we're gonna be working on all of his obedience inside, building motivation, building food drive, in turn teaching him to have a good relationship with us and a good, healthy working relationship and being motivated and moving through this stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started. If you guys have any questions about the process, let us know. Okay, so first step here on working through any sort of e-collar training with dogs, particularly when we're doing this kind of stuff, is we need to figure out what their working level is going to be for this exercise. I usually recommend in the first couple of times that you start e-collar training that you find this working level in this way in each environment that you're going to be working in, because outdoors it's going to be far different than inside. At the store it's going to be far different than in no distractions outside, etc., etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at 0. This is an e-collar that goes from 0 to 100 here, and we're going to go up, give a tap, up, give a tap, up, give a tap until we're seeing some sort of sign that he's noticing it. Once we see that he's noticing it, assuming it doesn't seem like it's way too much, what we'll do is we'll start there and we'll either go up or down as we need to based on how he's responding to it when we start the actual exercise. So we're going to start that now. So starting at 0, going up, tap, 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 tap. Oops. So right about there, you saw some sort of sign he was feeling it. That was at a 38 out of 100. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down, we're gonna try that one more time, and we're gonna see if we get the same response at all. So right about there, that was about a 25 that time. So we're gonna go ahead and start there. And like I said, we'll go up or down as we need to based on how he's doing with it. Now, it's important to recognize that when we're first finding our working levels with a dog who hasn't had much e-collar training or has had no e-collar training, you're gonna see a lot more intense of a reaction out of them, just like we were seeing right there, where he was really shaking his head around and stuff initially. And that's because he has no clue what this is. I always say, it's not that the e-collar is painful to the dog, it's just a sensation that they have never experienced before in their life. There is nothing in nature that feels like electricity to a dog, right? Where, even though prong collar is something new, it's still a physical pressure that they would feel in other situations, so they don't typically get as startled by it. So, like I said, we're gonna get started here and we're gonna start the training process. Okay, so the idea here of what we're gonna be trying to do is we're gonna be trying to condition in that the e-collar sensation means the same deal as the leash here. So like I said, he understands the basics of moving with this leash and coming to us and staying in the heel position physically with this collar. But what we wanna do is we wanna get him less reliant on that pressure and get him understanding how to stay there on his own, because there are additional ways to communicate with him. In this case, the e-collar we're gonna be using. So we're gonna go for a little walk here. As we're walking, anytime that he gets ahead of me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press and hold the button, I'm gonna back him up with the leash, and I'm gonna release both when he gets into the heel position. So we're teaching him through repetition that this spot right about there is the off switch for the e-collar pressure here. Like I said, as we're encountering new distractions when we get to the street and stuff, we will adjust that level as we need to make sure that we're always hitting this point where the e-collar is essentially doing 75% of the work and the leash is only doing 25%. So when I use that e-collar back up, I want to feel that I'm just giving a little touch on the e-collar, or not the e-collar, the leash, to keep him in position and give him that direction of where it is that I want him to go. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We're walking. As he gets ahead, press and hold, back up, release when he gets in position. And each time I do this, I'm gonna assess how he's responding to it. Do I feel that the e-collar is doing 75% of the work, or do I feel like I need to gradually increase that level to get it doing more? Now again, we're gonna be moving through this process a little bit faster than we would with other dogs, just because we need to start to get some degree of control. When we get dogs that come in that are so out of control that they can't focus, they just can't learn as well as they would a dog that's gonna be a little bit more eager or a little bit more slowed down. So again, as we're working here, just trying to get some degree of attention out of him. And just about that response of him kind of, the little head shake and the little kind of jump back is what I'm looking for in these stages of things. Making sure that I could tell that, again, he cares about it and is actively trying to do something to essentially relieve that pressure or figure out what he could do to stop it. Now this process, when done correctly, should not take very long. It should be a process where they start to understand, okay, I care about this thing that this person is applying, and I'm realizing that by doing A, B, C, or D, I could turn it off. So I'm going to just start doing that. And from there, as we get that, you'll notice I'm gonna get looser on the leash. I'll give him a little bit more slack, and I'll get him starting to maintain and hold that position a little bit better on his own. Now, if he starts staying too wide, I'll shorten that leash up again, and I'll use a combination of the e-collar and the leash to make sure that he starts staying a little bit tighter to me throughout this process. Right now, his biggest distraction is obviously Josh filming behind and to the left, which is why he's pulling away from me, and he's kind of looking back in that direction. Now again, just a normal distraction we want to get him working through. This is a dog that does not feel like we're going to be giving the guidance or the leadership to be able to work past these issues and to be able to keep him safe out in public. So he's resorted to, I need to worry about these people over there. I need to engage in this or react towards this person to try to get them to go away, or any of the above. So I'm just trying to get him out of that state of mind and into a state of mind of just focusing instead. Now, in addition to that, this is a very busy road. Lots of traffic going on, lots of things going on. There's usually people walking and stuff. So the first couple times that they walk down this street in general, that in turn can be very overwhelming for them initially, and can make it a little bit more difficult for them to kind of focus through things. So, like I said, this is only really like his second time doing this on this street. So, all right, so as we're making our way into the park here, obviously we're gonna be finding different types of distractions, different smells on the ground and stuff. We'll probably see a lot of, usually we see with the dogs in this general stretch right here, a lot of trying to drop the nose to sniff. In those cases, I'll be utilizing the same process of leash and e-collar, releasing when he stops doing any of the above. So I can get him to move in my direction like that if I want to. I can get him to move his nose off of the ground if I want to like that. And ultimately just get him to maintain that position here. So again, I'm looking for, as we do this, he just starts relaxing more and more into that position. Again, you'll notice much looser on the leash here, having him hold that position and understanding where it is I want him. And then if I need to, I'll shorten that leash up a little bit more and get him to maintain position with me. And he's so far so good with this, doing really great. Now, as he does well with this, the next steps of this are going to be testing him a little bit more with it, with things like speed changes and stops. So I want to know ultimately if I speed up and start walking quicker, he's going to maintain position with me. And then if I go from a quick pace to a really slow pace, He's also going to slow down and give me that attention as well. If I need to utilize the e-collar, I will. Then we'll test it a couple more times, speeding up, slowing down, and having him kind of stop and maintain position with me. I could then go from that slow pace to a complete stop, and I want to start to see that he stops with me like that. So I'm going to start testing that a little bit now and continuing to push this further and further. So normal pace, quick pace, slow pace, using e-collar right there to stop him as he goes ahead, and stopping. Again, normal walking pace, quicker walking pace, slower walking pace, and getting him stopping with me. Again, using the e-collar there for lack of attention. Same deal on those stops. If he doesn't stop right away with me, e-collar and leash there, and then moving. There we go. Again, new distractions, person playing basketball over in the basketball courts, you could tell, has him a little bit more distracted than we'd like. So we're just proofing this as much as we can. See, he's kind of testing, looking over there a little bit. I don't mind a little glance, I just want him maintaining position as we do so. Good. Again, the alerting over in that direction. There's also a dog over there, which is why you could tell he's glancing over a lot more. So I'm using these distractions as really good training opportunities for everything we're trying to work on here. These are important things for him to be able to work past. And the areas where we see that he struggles the most and the reason why he's here in the first place. Again, more people ahead of us, maintaining position. If I notice too much of an alert past that, I'll use e-collar and leash there to help him. Good. And you can see he's really starting to fall into that position now. Really relaxing into it. You'll notice I could take that leash and drop all of the slack, and he's maintaining basically a perfect position here, which is exactly what we want, working through the distractions, more people over there, more people ahead of us, a couple kids playing on the playground over there, pace changes, stops, looking really great so far. So this is kind of the process of how we start to work through this. This is what, with a dog like this, a typical first e-collar session would look like, to be able to work past some of these hurdles. From there, what we'll do is, like I said, we'll continue building motivation, we'll continue building confidence, and just get him nice and dialed in with us, where we know, one, we can control him even in situations when he doesn't necessarily want to, which is a really important part a lot of people fail to realize. They forget to realize that you can teach a dog all of these things with just food, right? Food is fantastic for building behaviors, but ultimately the reason why we utilize these tools with all of the dogs that come in here is because at some point there's always going to be things that the dog wants to do more than they want whatever it is you have for them. So we're trying to work them past that point where we establish the clarity and the safety first with a dog like this. From there, we start building their motivation and we start then teaching them to enjoy doing this stuff. So this is a little bit of the first session. I think we saw a lot of cool hurdles to work past with him and show you how we kind of get to this point where it's a lot smoother. Naturally, if you guys have any questions about the process, hit them up in the comments below. If not, we'll keep you guys posted on his progress.